I believe that is not only irresponsible, I believe it is a sin before a holy God that we would ever do that to future generations and do it out of our own self-centeredness. We owe it to all that is right and all that is true to give a better future to the next generation. And one way we do that is to take this anxiety and the anger that we have seen across this country, and we do more than just get mad and go home. We get mad and we get busy and we get on our feet and we pass the FairTax and we make it the law of the land and give our children and grandchildren a better future, not a worse future than the one we have. Let me close tonight. I want to remind you that sometimes we tend to think that things are going to get worse. And I hear all the gloom and doom stuff, and I tend to look for ways in which I can find light at the end of the tunnel that's not necessarily a train coming at me. And one of the ways that I'm reminded is that throughout our history, we've had dark moments that we thought were going to be the end of us. Look, this country should have never started. A bunch of ragtag farmers that had weapons that were more suited for rabbit hunting than a war took on the best financed, the best equipped, the best trained army in the history of the world at that time and beat them. Unbelievable. This is a country that went through world wars and a Great Depression, and then it went through a civil war, and quite frankly, no other country in the history of mankind has ever gone through something as divisive as the Civil War that we experienced, and then was able to come out of it, not simply surviving, but thriving to become the greatest nation, economically, militarily, in every other way on earth. We have been through tough times, and we've come through them. I am one who refuses to believe that the best days of America are behind us and there's nothing to look forward to and everything to fear. Believe that if you want to. But on the last day I die, I still want to believe that we can have an impact in making this country better for our children, not worse. And it's our responsibility not simply to cuss and spit and complain about what is wrong. It's our responsibility to stand up and make it what's right. That's always been what made America a better country. There was a pastor who got a phone call from one of his members, and she said, "Come see me, Pastor, it's urgent." So he went right over. They sat down in her living room, and she said, "I've just come from the doctor, and I have some terrible news. I've just found out that I only have but a few months to live." She said, "And Pastor, I don't want my family to have to go through all these hardships of planning and preparing. I want to get everything done so that they don't have to do a thing." He said, "That's very noble of you." She said, "Now, Pastor, at my funeral service, I want to get it all planned out down to who the pallbearers are and what kind of flower, everything. I want it all done before it happens so nobody has to worry about it. But I do have the special request. I want you to do the service, Pastor, but then I have a special request. When they put me in the coffin and I'm laying up there in front of the church for the service, I know it's customary that one's hands are folded across one another on the chest and a bouquet of flowers is placed there. I don't want that." She said, "Pastor, I have a very unusual request." He was thinking, yeah, unusual. I've heard all these unusual things before. But he didn't want to say it to her and hurt her feelings. He just said, "Yes, what is it, my child?" And she said, "When I am placing the coffin, instead of the bouquet, I want you to put a dinner fork in my hand, and I'm going to be holding the dinner fork." And the pastor thought to himself, that is the most unusual request I've ever heard in my life. And she said, "I know what you're thinking. I've lost my mind." But no, I haven't. But they're going to think that too. And that's when you're going to get up and explain what that's all about. She said, "Pastor, you know, every time we have these fellowship dinners and potluck things at the church, everybody brings their favorite dishes and they spread them out on the tables and we go through and we pile our plates up and we eat until we don't think we can eat another bite. And when we're finished and we push the plate over and we rear back in our chairs, whoa, and say, 'Somebody's got to carry me out of here.'" You've been to those dinners too. I didn't know that just because you laughed. I looked at you. I could tell you've been to those dinners. She said, when we're at those potluck dinners and we've had all that great stuff, the roast beef and the casseroles and the vegetables and everybody's brought their best stuff and we don't think we can have another bite. She says, we lean back in our chairs, we think we're finished, and then what happens? Always there's a little lady that comes out of the kitchen. She leans over to pick up our plate, and then she tells us these 3 words that all of us who have ever been to one of these events will know. She leans over and she says, keep your fork. Those 3 words, and you're laughing because you know exactly what that means. Keep your fork. Because keep your fork means it ain't over yet. Keep your fork means you thought it couldn't get any better. You thought that the roast beef you had, the fried chicken you had, you thought that that corn casserole was as good as it was going to get. But keep your fork, because there's something else. It's not over. Keep your fork. Because there's cake and pie and pudding. And it's all waiting. Keep your fork. Because it's not over. The best is yet to come. And when I hear people tell me that America's best days are behind us and there's nothing left, and boy, our kids are going to have it harder than we've ever imagined it to be, it could be like that. But tonight, I'm asking you to do more than get mad. I'm asking you to do something that America needs to see happen, and that is people like you and me rise up and decide that we aren't going to let our children have a life that is worse. That we're going to look at the kids behind us and we're going to give them 3 words. We're going to tell them, keep your fork. We're not going to give you an America that's less than the kind of America that we've been so blessed by God to live in. That's why, my friend, keep your fork. And God bless America, and let's pass the FairTax. Thank you. God bless you.